The film begins by showing Max, a young man, and his mother, Molly, as they arrive in the quaint town of Cooper Canyon. Their purpose is to clean up and settle into an inherited house that belonged to Max's late father, which they had neglected for the past decade. Max and Molly have been constantly on the move, seeking treatment for Max's peculiar illness. However, this time, they have chosen to return to Max's hometown and establish roots. When they begin the task of tidying up the house, Max comes across his father's belongings, untouched and exactly where they were left 10 years ago. While standing in front of an old television set, Max discovers something extraordinary. His hand movements emit peculiar waves that cause the screen to react. The following day, Max prepares himself for school, making a stop at the ruins of the factory where his father once worked. The dilapidated lab, damaged by a tornado that claimed his father's life, serves as a somber reminder of the past. Riding his bicycle to school, Max has a close encounter with Sofia, a girl driving a car who almost collides with him. The incident leaves Max in a tumble, prompting Sofia to express genuine concern for his well-being. Apologizing for her mistake, Sofia promises to fix Max's bike once he returns home from school. Later, Max enters his new classroom with a fresh face, and to his surprise, his teacher, Jack, is well acquainted with Max's father. Adorning the hallway of the school are newspaper clippings featuring his father and fellow scientists, evidence of their esteemed reputation in Cooper Canyon. Upon returning home, Sofia pays Max another visit, leading him to her garage, where she skillfully repairs his broken bicycle wheels. Grateful for her help, Max bids farewell to Sofia, riding his now fixed bike back home. Arriving home, Max encounters a man named Miles, who happens to be with his mother, Molly. Miles reveals himself to be a close friend of Max's late father and a former colleague at the N-TEK research lab, which was founded by Max's father. Max excuses himself to the bathroom to freshen up. However, while in the bathroom, he experiences the unsettling return of his illness. To his surprise, Max notices a shimmering blue object shadow reflected in the water, simultaneously within the newly established N-TEK laboratory. Two researchers become increasingly perplexed by an anomaly involving an object they have been guarding for the past decade. Suddenly, the object starts exhibiting unexpected reactions, catching their attention. In the meantime, Max, Molly, and Miles gather for a shared dinner. Molly reveals that it was Miles who convinced her to return to Cooper Canyon, emphasizing that Miles possesses the knowledge and expertise to aid Max in his recovery. Miles confirms that after Max's father's departure, he took charge of N-TEK and continued his late friend's research endeavors, driven by a profound desire to save the world. Within the depths of the N-TEK laboratory, the enigmatic object, previously seen in Max's bathroom, emerges from a pool of water, emanating inexplicable energy capable of manipulating its surroundings. Astonishingly, the object takes flight and escapes into the N-TEK facility, prompting the immediate deployment of security forces in pursuit. However, as the object escapes the confines of N-TEK, a peculiar event unfolds throughout Cooper Canyon, and the city's entire electrical grid plunges into darkness, including Max's house. Max ventures into the basement of his home, attempting to restore power. In doing so, he stumbles upon curious findings, such as an abundance of water supplies and canned food that exhibit no signs of expiration. After power is restored, Miles bids farewell and departs for his own residence, while Max retreats to his room, spurred by curiosity. He embarks on an internet search, uncovering a shocking revelation. Almost all the founders of N-TEK, including his father, perished in a devastating tornado. Startlingly, Miles emerges as the sole survivor. Meanwhile, news of the tornado that specifically targeted the N-TEK lab generates widespread speculation, with many suspecting foul play as it solely ravaged the N-TEK building, amplifying the controversy surrounding its origins. While engrossed in his internet search, Max's computer abruptly shuts down, leaving him frustrated. In his frustration, Max forcefully attempts to power it back on, only to be startled as his palm unexpectedly emanates a dazzling light, accompanied by an enigmatic surge of energy. Panicked, Max recoils, but curiosity overtakes him, and he cautiously exposes his hand to the mystifying energy once again. Driven by the desire to understand his newfound abilities, Max ventures into the woods the following day, determined to harness and control the energy emanating from his hand. To his astonishment, the energy he wields proves to be immensely powerful, causing the lights and radios in his possession to erupt in an explosive display. The realization dawns upon Max that he possesses extraordinary and unconventional powers. At school, Max finds solace in his artistic pursuits, engrossed in his drawings. Before long, Sofia appears, extending an invitation to have lunch together. Overjoyed, Max accepts, but to his dismay, the vending machine behind him suddenly malfunctions, unleashing an abundance of canned drinks. It becomes evident to Max that his emotional state has a profound influence on the energy within him, affecting electronic objects in his vicinity. Hastening to join Sofia for their lunch, Max spends the afternoon contemplating his situation alone by the tranquil lake. Fascinated, he observes the mesmerizing energy continuously emanating from his hand. Later, in the seclusion of his room, Max makes another attempt to unravel the mysteries surrounding his condition. Regrettably, he finds no concrete answers. Seeking solace, Max ventures to the terrace, where his mother, Molly, is unwinding. Puzzled by the abundance of stocked food reserves in their basement, Max queries his mother, wondering if it is in preparation for an impending apocalypse or a hypothetical zombie outbreak. Molly, unable to provide a definitive answer, reveals that Max's father was a man shrouded in mystery. Her response leaves Max feeling as though he never truly knew his late father. A sense of unease washes over him as he realizes that the residents of Cooper Canyon may possess a deeper understanding of his father's character than he, his own son, does. The following day, Max rendezvous with Sofia at a restaurant. Eager to enjoy lunch together, as they sit down, Max eagerly takes a sip of the boba drink he ordered, only to be overcome by a sudden wave of dizziness, signaling the resurgence of his illness. Apologizing to Sofia, Max requests permission to excuse himself and heads towards the bathroom, desperately seeking solace. Within the confines of the bathroom, Max finds himself engulfed in an unsettling situation. His powers resurface with an uncontrollable intensity, causing the lights to flicker and ultimately plunge the restroom into darkness. Frustrated and alarmed by his lack of control, Max realizes that this time, his energy is spiraling beyond his command. In a state of panic, Max flees from the restaurant, leaving Sofia behind, as he seeks refuge in the depths of the nearby forests. With each step, his dizziness intensifies, making it increasingly difficult to withstand the relentless surge of energy pulsating within him. Overwhelmed, Max reaches a breaking point, unable to contain the explosive energy coursing through his body, causing him to collapse unconscious amidst the woodland's embrace. After a period of unconsciousness, Max gradually regains awareness and finds himself back in his own room. Curiosity mingled with concern, he proceeds to the bathroom, only to be startled by the sight of a peculiar scar adorning his chest. As if that weren't bewildering enough, Max's attention is drawn to the presence of ethereal creatures floating before him. Filled with trepidation, Max instinctively tries to ward off the mysterious beings, but to his astonishment, one of them speaks. Introducing himself as Steel, the creature reveals that he is a silicon-based parasitic alien. Steel confesses to feeding on the energy emitted by Max's body, a revelation that leaves Max with mixed emotions. However, it becomes apparent that Steel's own memory is fragmented, with his recollection limited to his name and his role as a parasitic alien dependent on Max's energy. Steel proceeds to shed light on a vital detail. During the previous encounter in the forest, Steel absorbed the energy that surged uncontrollably from Max's body, preventing a catastrophic explosion that could have proven fatal. In an unexpected turn, Steel proposes a symbiotic arrangement. He offers to aid Max in overcoming any adversaries that pose a threat while consuming the excess, unmanageable energy that emanates from Max's body. Caught between apprehension and a need for protection, Max contemplates the weighty decision before him. Should he accept Steel's proposition, he would gain a formidable ally in his struggle, but at the cost of relinquishing control over his own extraordinary powers. Despite Steel's proposal, Max hesitates and opts not to accept the alien's abilities. Instead, he decides to remove Steel from his presence, securing the creature within a bag with the intention of abandoning it deep in the heart of the forest. Determined to sever their connection, Max embarks on a journey with Steel in tow. When they venture further into the dense woods, Steel seizes the opportunity to share a significant revelation. He discloses that it was the intense energy emanating from Max's body that roused him from a prolonged slumber. Steel believes that their fates are intertwined, asserting that Max cannot survive without providing him with the energy he requires. Engrossed in their conversation, Max's attention is abruptly captured by the sight of several individuals approaching their location. To Max's shock, the individuals are revealed to be troops from N-TEK, who swiftly open fire upon Max and Steel. Panic takes hold of Max, who instinctively flees from the scene. Driven by an overwhelming desire to escape the impending danger, in the midst of their desperate flight, Steel's fragmented memory suddenly pieces together, bringing forth a recollection of a tornado that decimated the very N-TEK factory they once discussed. In a moment of revelation, Max's connection with Steel deepens further as he catches a glimpse of the alien's memories. Astonishingly, the memories unveil a profound intertwining of their fates and an intricate bond that transcends their initial encounter. Within the flood of recollections, Max's ears capture a mysterious mention of the word Ultralink, accompanied by a sense of foreboding. Steel, too, grasps fragments of knowledge regarding Ultralink, recognizing it as a malevolent alien entity with sinister intentions to devastate Earth. The weight of this revelation compels Max to reassess his decision to abandon Steel, realizing that their union may hold the key to protecting the planet. Aware that they are still being pursued, Max is left with no choice but to bring Steel along, seeking refuge within the sanctuary of the school environment. Inside the school, Max's path intersects with Sofia once again. Expressing remorse for the incident at the restaurant, Max offers a heartfelt apology to Sofia, hoping to mend any strained feelings. Graciously accepting his apology, Sofia reassures Max that she understands the complexities of his situation, emphasizing her unwavering support. Upon returning home from school, Max embarks on a daring mission, accompanied by Steel, to explore the remnants of an old N-TEK laboratory. Driven by an insatiable curiosity and an urgent need for answers, Max intends to unlock the secrets of his own past and help Steel regain his lost memories. When they delve into the ruins, an extraordinary event unfolds. The dormant energy within Max's body resurfaces once more. However, this time, Max manages to harness and control the energy, guided by Steel's assistance. Steel becomes Max's mentor, teaching him to wield his newfound abilities, transforming the energy into a source of power. With Steel's guidance, Max discovers his agility, honing his reflexes and combat skills. He becomes capable of swift movements and even gains the ability to leap to remarkable heights. Yet, as Max pushes the limits of his newfound powers, he finds himself teetering on the precipice of a dangerous edge. Overwhelmed by the intensity, fear seizes him, causing his energy to erupt uncontrollably. In a surprising turn of events, Steel, recognizing the impending danger, fuses with Max's body, forming an impenetrable armor that shields and protects him from the explosive energy. Max, now enveloped in the form of the powerful armor, stands at the precipice of a new destiny, his life forever intertwined with Steel. When Max and Steel merge their powers, Max is granted a glimpse into Steel's past, revealing a profound connection to Max's father. Witnessing his father's interactions with Steel, Max becomes aware of their shared intention to join forces and combat the malevolent Ultralink. The haunting image of a devastating tornado, claiming his father's life, etches itself in Max's mind. The tragedy was no ordinary natural disaster but rather a tornado engineered by Ultralink's sinister forces. Upon awakening from this vision, Max is consumed by a burning desire to uncover the truth behind his father's involvement with Steel. Seeking answers, Max sets his sights on Miles, a crucial witness who was present during the destructive tornado attack. Determined to gain insights into his father's demise, Max mounts his bicycle and swiftly pedals towards Miles, hoping that he holds the key to unraveling the mystery surrounding his father's fate. While on his way to meet Miles, Max encounters Sofia, who greets him warmly. Their interaction is interrupted by the sight of troop cars surveilling Max, prompting him to swiftly evade their attention and part ways with Steel. Realizing the gravity of his situation, Max appeals to Sofia for assistance, urgently requesting her help in driving him to the headquarters of the newly established N-TEK office. Upon arriving at the N-TEK office, Max seeks out Miles, hoping to extract information about the night his father tragically lost his life. To Max's dismay, Miles reveals that he was not present at the scene when the incident occurred, rendering him unaware of the exact events that transpired. Nonetheless, Miles proceeds to showcase a prototype device, an imperfect creation imbued with the potential to generate extraordinary energy, conceived by Max's late father. Miles confides in Max, sharing his personal struggle to bring to fruition the dreams left behind by Max's father. As their conversation unfolds, a surge of energy courses through Max's body once more, inflicting a surge of pain. Overwhelmed, Max hastily retreats from the premises, his mind clouded with a sense of urgency and unease. While on his way back home, Max's surroundings abruptly darken, signaling an imminent threat. A menacing tornado materializes, advancing toward Max with relentless force. Desperately seeking refuge, Max races towards a nearby shack, seeking shelter within its feeble confines. However, the tornado's relentless power proves insurmountable, obliterating the very structure Max had sought solace in. Caught in the heart of the swirling tornado, Max finds himself face to face with Ultralink, a malevolent creature emanating a sinister red glow. Without hesitation, Ultralink attempts to ensnare Max, intent on consuming him. However, just in the nick of time, Steel arrives, uniting its powers to become the formidable entity known as Max Steel. Together, they confront Ultralink, but the malevolent entity launches a powerful attack that separates Max and Steel once again, forcing Max to escape. Despite his efforts to flee, Max is inexorably drawn back into Ultralink's clutches. In a stroke of fortune, Steel manages to reach Max, and the two unite once more, their combined strength allowing them to withstand Ultralink's onslaught. In a moment of vulnerability, Ultralink reveals its true form. Floating menacingly before Max, Steel swiftly advises Max to unleash his energy, launching a formidable attack that incapacitates Ultralink. As the dust settles, Max approaches the defeated Ultralink, only to make a startling discovery: its physical form mirrors that of Steel. Simultaneously, a flicker of Steel's memories flashes before Max's eyes, revealing his presence in the lab during the tragic incident that claimed his father's life. Fueled by suspicion and anger, Max accuses Steel of being responsible for his father's demise, as Steel is an Ultralink. Consumed by rage, Max demands that Steel keep his distance. Upon returning home, Max is met with an ominous sight: N-TEK's military forces surrounding his house. Making a critical decision, Max chooses to evade capture as the N-TEK forces close in on him. Seeking assistance, Max turns to Sofia, imploring her for help and requesting the use of her car. While en route, Max contacts Miles, seeking his aid in navigating the perilous situation that unfolds before him. Upon reaching out to Miles for help, Max receives unexpected news. Miles reveals that he possesses knowledge about Ultralink's recent attack on Max. Furthermore, he discloses that the N-TEK military forces have abducted Max's mother and taken her to his father's lab within the ruins of the old N-TEK building. Filled with determination, Max races towards the dilapidated N-TEK factory, carefully navigating its treacherous terrain. When he enters the factory, Max proceeds cautiously, aware of the gravity of the situation. Guided by a sudden burst of illuminating lights, he follows their beacon, relying on their guidance to lead him to his destination. On the other hand, Molly, Max's mother, remains at home, unaware of the perilous circumstances her son has encountered. In the midst of this, Sofia reaches out to Molly, notifying her that Max had visited in a hurry and borrowed her car, explaining that he intended to meet with Miles. Initially puzzled by the sudden turn of events, Molly swiftly realizes the truth as N-TEK troops arrive at her doorstep, confirming the gravity of the situation unfolding around them. In a powerful display of authority, Molly confronts the N-TEK military forces within her home, demanding answers about their pursuit of Steel. Asserting her position as the highest shareholder in her late husband's N-TEK company, Molly reminds them that she holds the ultimate power and command over the military forces of N-TEK. With her newfound authority, Molly issues a direct order to the team, instructing them to rescue Max immediately. Meanwhile, inside the active laboratory room, Max finds Steel restrained and unconscious. Determined to free his alien companion, Max attempts to bypass the energy field that obstructs his path. In this critical moment, a surge of memories floods Max's consciousness, revealing a scene from the past. Max witnesses his father preparing to confront a group of Ultralinks, aiming to defend Earth with Steel's assistance. As Max's father readies himself to enter a controlling device, the Ultralinks unexpectedly launch their attack, obliterating the surroundings before Max's father can act. In a shocking turn of events, Miles unveils his true allegiance, having betrayed Max and aligned himself with the Ultralink. Miles reveals his sinister plan to absorb Max's father's energy and harness it for his own gain, granting himself invincibility. Max becomes the target of Miles' nefarious scheme, as Miles intends to siphon all of Max's power into himself. Faced with this dire situation, Max's father sacrifices himself, detonating in a final act of bravery. Prior to his sacrifice, Max's father imparts a crucial instruction to Steel, instructing him to enter sleep mode to ensure his survival and, in the future, seek out Max to protect him. Awakening from the rush of memories, Max finds himself confronted by Miles, who now stands behind him. Driven by his determination to fight back, Max prepares to launch an attack against Miles. However, Miles swiftly captures Max using his powerful claws, capable of absorbing Max's energy. Reveling in his long-awaited moment, Miles coerces Max to unleash all of his power, intending to absorb it and augment his own abilities. As Miles successfully absorbs the energy, Max finds himself cornered and forced into his father's energy control machine. In a desperate move, Max reluctantly enters the device, his hope diminishing as he confronts the grim reality of his situation. When Steel revives inside the energy control machine, Max conveys his intention to follow in his father's footsteps. Max realizes that, like his father, he must expend his energy excessively and erratically to allow Steel to rise by absorbing the released energy. United once more, Max and Steel merge into the formidable armor, fortifying Max's body with impenetrable protection. Together, they unleash their might upon the energy control machine, obliterating it in a powerful display of force. Engaged in an intense battle, Max Steel confronts Miles, whose ability to absorb Max's power through his clawed hands poses a formidable challenge. Recognizing the need for strategic advantage, Steel reveals its ability to enter invisible mode, rendering Max undetectable to the naked eye. Utilizing this newfound ability, Max launches a relentless assault against Miles. However, Miles becomes aware of Max's presence through the lingering shadow cast by his invisible form, allowing him to counter Max's attacks. In a fierce exchange, Miles forcefully pushes Max back and absorbs his power once again. Just as the situation seems dire, N-TEK's military forces arrive, engaging Miles in a futile attempt to stop him. Despite Miles overpowering and striking down the soldiers, Max rises from the ashes and unleashes a relentless barrage of attacks against his foe. Though Miles manages to regain his footing and counter Max's assault, the tables turn as Max inadvertently releases an overwhelming surge of energy, consumed by Miles. Seizing the opportunity, Steel swiftly harnesses Max's energy and unleashes a turbocharged attack, resulting in a cataclysmic explosion that engulfs both Miles and Max, bringing their battle to an explosive end. After regaining consciousness, Max finds himself in a state of relief as he discovers both he and Steel are unharmed. Shortly thereafter, Molly arrives at the scene, eager to assess Max's condition. To her delight, Molly recognizes Steel and expresses her gratitude for his unwavering protection of Max. In the days that follow, Molly confides in Max, revealing the true purpose behind their journey to safeguard him from the Ultralink threat and seek out a specialist who can mitigate the energy surges emanating from Max's body. Molly remains convinced that Miles is not responsible for her husband's death. In fact, it was Miles who persuaded Molly to return to Cooper Canyon City, driven by his claim that he could help neutralize Max's energy. Before departing, Molly presents Max with a cherished necklace that once belonged to his father. With the assistance of Steel, the necklace illuminates, revealing the coordinates to the planet from which Max's father originated. As the story reaches its conclusion, Max seeks out Sofia, expressing his heartfelt gratitude for her unwavering support. Max presents Sofia with a hand-drawn sketch of her own face, a token of his appreciation. Max and Steel, merging into the powerful entity known as Max Steel, take flight, embarking on a mission to locate and confront another Ultralink, determined to protect the Earth from imminent destruction.